I would not keep it. Not even for a second. It would probably be in the bin later that day. Hello friends, it is an absolutely dreary, rainy day today, and I wanted to have some fun. So I decided to go through and tier rank some basic, common houseplants that you can find pretty much anywhere, and like go through them all from the ones that I think should go straight in the bin to what I believe is the absolute elite common beginner houseplant. Before we get into that, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. I also want to say I'm by far not the first person to ever do this, but I have created this tier ranking for myself and we're just gonna go through it and have a bit of fun. This is just a have fun video. So I've done 5 tiers in this tier ranking. Like I said, the bottom one is straight to the bin. Plants that I, like if they were given to me, I would not keep. Then we've got Bleh tier, which is like, I don't like them, but I'm not gonna like immediately get rid of it. That's fine. Got the fine, I guess, category where it's like, it's not good, it's not bad. Solid choice, which is a plant that I like, but it's not like top tier. And then absolutely top tier plants that I would absolutely like go out of my way to get. I think I've got like 25 of these plants, and so we're just gonna get straight in there. The first one is Marantas, and I'm honest, I really like Marantas. This specific one, the red Maranta, is not my favorite, so I am going to pop this guy at solid choice because it is a good solid choice. It might not be the easiest thing in the world, but it's also not super difficult. They're also pet safe, which is a bonus for me. I've got pets, and so anything that I can keep out and about around them is a bonus, and I will have it if I possibly can. So yeah, I also think the like more uncommon Marantas are like growing in popularity, so I think it's a solid choice. Okay, string of pearls. I haven't had one of these in ages. I have actually had and tried all of these plants in this list, I should say. I haven't had this one in a long time, and that is for a reason, because I think they belong straight in the bin. They, string of pearls, I feel like you need a very specific type of environment in order to keep them happy. They require quite a lot of light, and light from above as well. You can't hang them up high, even though they're trailing-y plants, so you'd want to hang it up high because there needs to be light on the top. It's just too faffy, and I could never get the watering right, and I know they're like easy houseplants, and maybe for some, but not in my experience. I haven't been able to keep one alive and happy and looking nice, ever. Ooh, classic Monstera. The classic normal Monstera. Solid choice, straight up. I think that they are great, low maintenance plants. I have had some that don't grow as well as others, and I don't know, I don't feel like they are in the absolute elite category. I don't actually have a normal plain Monstera. I just have the Tycon back there, which I prefer to the normal one personally. That's why it's not in absolutely top tier, because something about it, like I just never was able to get it quite right, but I do think that they are an absolute staple, and I wouldn't mind adding one to my collection again. They're better than fine, I guess, for sure. Dracaena. I think I'm gonna put Dracaena in fine, I guess, because they're okay. They're nice plants. They're also super low maintenance, easy, but I don't feel like I need to have any in my home. This one's like the dragon tree type, and I do really like them, but they have gone down in my ranks from, like, they would be at solid choice if they weren't so toxic and tempting to cats. Cleo has previously really gone for my Dracaenas when I've had them, and so them being toxic plus my cats liking the vibe, probably not a good idea, and it's just going to fine, I guess. I do think they're pretty though, so if I could potentially have it in a place where my cats didn't go, fine, and I can appreciate in other people's homes, whereas like some things I just This next one, yeah, crotons. I don't appreciate anywhere. So that one's going straight in the bin as well. I find these so difficult, in addition to being, this is just my opinion, ugly. I am just not a fan of the bright orange, yellow, red colors. If that's your thing, fantastic, but I just don't think it looks very good, and they are also a little bit finicky. It is quite a common thing for you to bring a croton home and for it to just drop all of its leaves immediately because they hate being moved. That's a normal thing. That shouldn't be normal. We shouldn't just like tolerate that as like what a houseplant might do. So I don't think it's worth it. I don't think, maybe outside, sure, fine, outside, they can grow outside. In a home as a houseplant where they can be moved around and like drop all their leaves and, in my opinion, look ugly, absolutely not. Straight in the bin. If someone gave me one, I would not keep it. Not even for a second. It would probably be in the bin later that day. Hoya Crimson Queen, I think this one is. I'm actually gonna put this one, ooh, I really like it. I really like the Crimson Queen. I think they're nice. I'm putting it in absolute elite. Screw it. Why not? I think Hoyas in general are a great houseplant. I really like the Crimson Queen. I think it's a pretty one. I like the white and the green, like, variegation combo. It's quite fun. The only thing that might bring it down, ooh, is that they're actually difficult to get to flower. Ooh, do I want to bring it down because of that? Oh, I really don't know. Oh, maybe I will, yeah, because when Hoyas bloom, it's fantastic. And because they are a difficult one to get to bloom, I have to bring it down, because if they bloomed easily, I'd be all for it. Because I've had my Crimson Queen Princess combo pot for years and it has never bloomed ever. But I do really, really like them. I think Hoyas are great, easy. And again, pet safe, which just like automatically raises them at least one level in my book. Bird of Paradise. That's going straight to the top. I love my Bird of Paradise. It has grown so much for me in the time I've had it. I got it as like maybe a meter tall plant, and now it touches my ceiling. It's easily 2.5 meters tall. It is huge. It's grown so well. It has never put up a fuss. It's been in super bright places. It's been in super dark places. It still puts out new growth regardless. It is so easy, so chill, and just like a brilliant time. Literally no notes on this one. I love it so much. The umbrella tree. This guy, I think I'm gonna put in Bleh, because like they're okay, but I don't actively want one, especially not an unvariegated one. The variegated ones, like maybe like a little bit higher, that might go into fine, I guess, category. But like the normal classic umbrella tree, I just don't really care. I don't want it. I don't need it. But it's also not going to go straight in the bin. If one entered my possession, I wouldn't just like immediately throw it away. I would like at least give it a go for a little bit. But I don't necessarily like it. I would never pick it out for myself. Monstera adansonii. I'm putting that as well in the Bleh category because I feel like they're okay. I don't particularly like the texture. I've never actually had one grow well for me. I did also find that they were a little bit of a pest magnet, but I wouldn't put it straight in the bin, you know? I feel like I don't hate them. I just dislike them, if that makes sense. And then we've got the golden pothos, I think this is, going absolute elite. And that's saying something because I do not normally like yellow variegation or variegation on things. I dislike that. But the golden pothos is just amazing. It is such an easy, like, tolerant plant. I used to have one above where I'm sitting right now in my bedroom, and it just like grew for meters and meters and meters. And I basically neglected it. It wasn't getting grow light. I would underwater it all the time. I put it in a pot where it was too root bound, and it was still growing, and it was fine. And I just love that. I would easily recommend that as a beginner plant to pretty much anybody. I think they're fun. You can grow them up if you want them to size up and get bigger leaves. You can grow them trailing. You can train them across things. There's so many different things you can do with it. Oh, I just love it so much. Even better would be the Marble Queen, which I didn't actually put on this list. The Marble Queen is like Golden Pothos Plus because it's not got the yellow. Also, given I did have a very, very, very low variegated Golden Pothos, and I think that helped because if it had loads of like yellow variegation, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. But anyways, next up we have the ZZ plant, just the normal one, not the Raven. I'd say if it were the Raven, I'd put it in solid choice. Because it is just the plain green one, it's fine, I guess. I haven't had a normal ZZ, like the non-Raven ZZ, in quite a long time. It's just because I don't like them as much. They're lovely plants, they're super hardy and can tolerate lower light. They're not going to grow the best in low light, but like, it's fine. I think, yeah, it's on par with the Dracaena, where it's like chill, easy, low maintenance, pretty, but not like I must have it sort of plant. Aglaonemas, I'm popping in solid choice because they're a solid choice. They, again, easy care, low maintenance. You can kind of beat them up a little bit, put them in lower light, and it doesn't matter. I just think they're a little bit more fun than the ZZ. And there's a little bit more variety with Aglaonema as well. This one I think is the Maria, but like there's just so many different types of Aglaonema, and if you happen to be a pink plant person, you can get pink ones. I'm personally not, and that would go straight in the bin for me. But like the sort of lovely green, silvery, whitish Aglaonemas, they're fantastic. I really like them, and they're not like quite top tier. They wouldn't be my first choice if I could only pick one in a plant store, but I do really like them, and I think they're a solid choice for sure. Nerve plants. Ooh. I'm contemplating between fine, I guess, and Bleh. Because they're fine. They're okay. But I think, again, I wouldn't go out of my way to get one. I think I'm putting them in Bleh. Yeah, they don't excite me. They don't grow very big, which, I mean, not that I need all of my plants to grow big, but I don't know. The best I ever had one was when it was in a terrarium, and like that was fine, but I didn't exactly enjoy having the terrarium. And so it's just not, it's not priority for me, and I wouldn't put it straight in the bin. I would at least try and keep it alive, but it's just a bit Bleh. Begonia maculata, or polka dot begonia. I kind of think it would go in absolute elite because it is a cane begonia. I freaking love cane begonias. They are some of the easiest plants ever to propagate. Oh my god. I water propagate every single one of the begonias I have, and they just root like that in water. They don't complain, they don't rot. You don't have to like let them callus over or anything first like you might have to do with a philodendron or a monstera. You can just cut it, pop it straight into water, and you are good to go. And I really like them. I think they're cute. And you would think, again, because like the red backs to the leaves that I like didn't like on the crotons, I kind of like it in the Begonia maculata and like all the cane begonias. I think it's a bit of fun in that one. Maybe it's just because I like that they grow better. Also, almost all of my begonias, my cane begonias, they grow so big so quickly that I end up having to restart them all the time. So maybe that's like a point down for them, is that they grow too fast. But, I mean, that's kind of a good problem to have. So I'm going to put it as absolutely. I really like them. If you had asked me this like 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't have put it there. I probably would have put it in the Bleh category. But now that I've like figured out cane begonias, aka make sure they're getting enough hydration, I absolutely love them. And I would definitely search it out. Philodendron Brazil. I think this one's gonna go in the Bleh category as well. They're fine. I think I much prefer the normal heart leaf without the yellow stripe in the middle. It's just not for me. I kind of think of it as similar to the Adansonii, where like they just don't grow very well for me hanging unless you can give them so much light, which I can't really provide in my home, so I just don't think it's worth the trouble. Watermelon peperomia. Ooh. I am deciding between Bleh and straight in the bin for this one because like I think I'm gonna go straight in the bin. It's hard because I think they're pretty when they look nice, but I have never ever been able to grow one that looks nice. Whenever I've brought one home from a shop that looked nice, it ended up turning into something that looked terrible and like did not grow well for me. But then when I've tried growing it from cuttings, I've been able to root them and stuff, and then I pot it and then it starts growing terrible again. And I have to think it's not a me problem, because I know other people have that sort of issue with them, and like the leaves not coming out bigger, and yeah. I think pretty much most peperomias I would put straight in the bin. Aloe vera, I'm gonna put that in Bleh. It's not straight in the bin. I do think they're cool, they're nice, they're okay, but they're not my favorite. The next one I prefer a little bit more. The like snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue, the like sort of normal yellow one. That one, it's fine, I guess. The only thing that's bringing it down is the yellow stripes on it. There are loads of other sansevierias that I would put so much higher, potentially up to the elite category, because they're beautiful. They're low, light, tolerant, but like can grow super big if you give them higher light. They're super drought tolerant. I barely ever water my sansevierias and they are fine. And yeah, I think that one specifically, the yellow one, goes into the fine, I guess, category. Ficus elastica, this one is the variegated one, the sneaky. I'm popping that in solid choice. I really like this plant. I think it definitely needs more light and water than you might think it does. They are very thirsty creatures and they like quite a lot of bright light in order to grow well. And for the first few years of me having mine, I didn't necessarily give it that, and so it grew quite slowly. That's okay. If you are okay with your plant growing slowly, that's fine. Until I put it into a bright spot in actually semi-hydro substrate where it's getting a constant access to water. Now it's like really properly popping off and growing well for me. So now that I figured it out, I think it's a solid choice. But it's not absolute elite because it's got those like slight difficulties that took me a little bit to figure out. Boston fern. I've tried these before and they haven't been amazing for me. I feel like they just need more moisture than I'm prepared to give them. I am in general a chronic underwaterer, and so I'd much prefer plants that can tolerate that. So, but I do find them really pretty. I think aesthetically they look beautiful. Oh, I think I'm gonna put it fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because I do really like them, and maybe I need to try one again now that I've gotten better at houseplants, and I'm just generally better at watering these days. So maybe I'll try one of those again in the future, but for now, it's just in the fine category. They're okay. Same with the Crassula ovata or jade plant. They're really nice. Why it's ranked so high for me is because I do have sentimental value with mine. I got the one that I have from my mother-in-law, and it was one of the earliest plants I had in my collection. So I do really like it. And it's also really easy, super drought tolerant. Propagates itself. I don't even have to think about propagating it. It just propagates itself and it's fine. And yeah, it's just an easy, chill one. I really like it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy another one. So that's why it's just in the fine category. We're getting quite a nice standard deviation here that I'm gonna just enhance further with this next one. Bing! This is the Peace Lily, and it's going straight into fine, I guess, because they are just fine, I guess. I'm not the biggest fan of the Peace Lily flowers. They're just fine, and I personally don't need mine to flower ever. I have a variegated version, which I would rank slightly higher as no, I'd probably put that in the fine category as well, even though it's variegated. Yeah, I think it is just fine. I find that they are quite thirsty. I have mine in semi-hydro, and that's worked well for it, but they can droop heavily. If they get too thirsty, they can like completely faint down, and they will perk up, but I just don't need that sort of stress in my life. So it's just, they're pretty, but it's just fine. Pilea peperomioides. Oh, this one is quite low in my ranking for sure. I I think I'm gonna put it straight in the bin. I would never pick one off at like the free table at a plant swap, personally. That's just my cup. They're actually quite difficult, surprisingly. You'd think they'd be quite easy based off how common they are and like how you can get them in like pretty much any plant shop. I don't like them. I also think the variegated ones look ill and sick, so I wouldn't recommend. And I feel like the only way to grow them well is if you have space where they can be viewed from all the sides, because they're very like three-dimensional plant. If like, I wouldn't want one that was facing against a wall, if that makes sense, because I just don't think they look as good like that. I would want to be able to see it from all of the sides, and I don't have space for that in my home. I also don't have the light for them in my home, and I just can't be bothered to take care of them. So yeah, I would just put the cutting straight in the bin. I have put Pilea cutting straight in the bin when I used to run the plant swap. There was always some left on the free table at the end of the night, and those just got chucked. String of hearts. I feel like that's just, they're fine. I think I might actually put them down to Bleh, because I've just thought about how many hours I have spent detangling string of hearts. They are, oh my gosh, they are the most tangle-prone plant I have ever experienced, and they cannot be untangled without you sitting there for a long time and individually untangling every single tangle, because they just like, the leaves end up acting like hooks and catching onto each other, and you can't pull them apart easily. And oh my goodness, it is just the biggest faff in the world. I hated doing that. Like, it's one of those things that you've got to like pop on a TV show or something while you're doing it, because it's gonna take so long and be so draining. So yeah, I don't really like them. I've had several. They're quite easy to propagate and they're fun, but I literally don't feel like there's a hole in my collection without having a string of hearts in it at all. Alocasia Poly. This is one for me that I have had since the very beginning of my collection. It's actually one of my absolute favorite plants of all time. It's going in absolute elite, and I know other people might not have had the same experience as I have with this plant. They might have found it more difficult than I have. There's a point in time when my Alocasia Poly got down to one leaf, a single leaf, and I have revived it back through the years to be this like lovely, big, huge plant. I feel like they're actually really forgiving, and also you can always reprop and start over again from corms with them as well. I think it's beautiful. I love the veination and the shape of the leaves. I love Alocasia in general. I think that they are very fun. I would be really, really sad to not have an Alocasia Poly in my collection. I think I would go out and buy one immediately. If mine suddenly just dropped dead, I'd replace it. 100%, like without a doubt, I would replace it. Parlor Palm. I think I'm gonna put it in the fine, I guess, category. They're just okay. They're nothing special. Again, they've got that sort of growth pattern that my cats really like to go after. Luckily, they are non-toxic, and so it's never an issue I've had with them, but I just don't, do I even, yeah, I might even move it lower because I don't need that. I just feel like they're a little bit boring as well, which maybe sounds mean, but it's my tier list. I can do what I want. Fiddly Fig. I should say I've only ever had the variegated version of this plant, and I have absolutely no desire to have the non-variegated version. So I'm going to put the non-variegated version in the Bleh category. They are quite finicky when it comes to water and light. They need quite a lot of both of them in order to live and grow well. I've also heard so many horror stories of people's fiddly figs just dropping all of their leaves, similar to the croton, where they just like drop everything and then you have this like long, scraggly looking stick with maybe like one leaf at the top. I think that's ugly. I don't want that in my house. I don't think it's worth it personally, and so I wouldn't get another one. The variegated one I would probably put in fine, I guess, because of those things, but I just think it's a little bit prettier than the plain green one, personally. Spider plants. This is an interesting one because this is my absolute nemesis plant. I have struggled with spider plants so much over the years. I've never been able to keep one alive until this year right now, I currently have a spider plant that I've got a smart plant sensor in, and that's telling me how often I need to water it, which is way, way more than I thought it was. I can't decide between Fine, I guess, and Bleh, but like, I like having mine now, and it is pet safe, which is good. It is a mild hallucinogenic to them, so like, don't give your pets access all the time because it's like giving them access to drugs constantly, so like maybe don't, but it's not a problem if they do eat it. It also has that like sort of similar to the Dracaena and the Parlor Palm frondiness. I think that's why they like them, and they look like cat toys to me. I think they're just fine. They're just fine. If I am not able to keep this next one alive, even with the help of the smart plant sensor, I'm over it. I'm never going to try again because I just don't care enough. But as of right now, now that I'm giving it the correct care, yeah. Okay, we've got 2 more left. The next one, this one's a Calathea ornata. And personally, in my home, I have felt like it was a solid choice, but I have had other Calatheas that are not as easy, or I've had other ones since this one of the ornata that didn't grow as well and wasn't as like stable for me. So I'm just gonna put them in the fine, I guess. I do think they're really beautiful plants. They're one of the few pink plants that I can get behind because their stripes are the only thing that are pink, and it's not a very bright pink. I think they look quite pretty because the dark leaves is beautiful, the foliage. They're just a little bit more temperamental, and they are a little bit of spider mite magnets. I'm pretty sure my original one died from spider mites or thrips or something, and that's unfortunate. Until it got pest, it was doing fantastic for me, growing constantly. I loved it, but after it got pests, it went downhill so fast, and I was not able to like get it back, and so I think it just has to go in the fine, I guess, category. And then the last one is a Syndapsis. I think this one's the Syndapsis exotica. I only put one Syndapsis. I could have put the Argyraeus on this one, but I think this exotica is slightly nicer. And it's going similar to Golden Pothos in the absolute elite category. I love Syndapsis. I have my giant mixed pot of rare ones just up there. I think that they're so beautiful. I love the like green and silver combo. Also the green tone is much more cool toned. I think these grow so easily. They are a joy, a pleasure. They'll tell you if they're thirsty by their leaves curling. It is just so low maintenance and so beautiful and perfect that I'm obsessed. I could have like hundreds of them. I could probably fill my entire house with just Syndapsis, and it wouldn't be perfect, but I wouldn't be mad at it because I think they're so beautiful. They're so easy. They're just such a low maintenance chill plant, and they perfectly fit my style. And so that's why they go in the absolute elite category. So there we go. That is my tier ranking of these plants. I'd be curious to hear how you feel about these, if you have very differing opinions to me on them, if there's some that I have an absolute elite that you think should be way lower, or vice versa. Let me know down below in the comments. I really enjoyed doing this. Also, let me know if you'd be interested in me doing another one of like uncommon plants or plants that used to be uncommon that are now super accessible. I could do something like that. If you'd enjoy that, I think I would enjoy it. Maybe if this video does well, I will do it in the future. Put a little green heart in the comments if that is something you would like to see, and I can make that happen. Yeah, I think it's just a bit of fun. Before I go, I want to say a huge thank you to the newest member of my Patreon, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you absolutely love it over there. If anyone else is interested in joining the lowest tier, £3, and for that you get the bulk of everything, including bonus content and live chats, Discord access, voting possibilities. If you want to join a higher tier as well, I do like photo dumps and stuff like that, but they're more just like for funsies. If you feel like you can support a little bit more, it is always very much appreciated. So if you are interested, the link is down below in the description, but if you're not, that is totally fine. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. And don't forget to keep growing. Bye!